April 1st, 2026, San Francisco, 9:31 in the morning. A software engineer at a company called Drift Protocol opens his laptop, takes a sip of coffee, and notices something wrong with his dashboard. Numbers that should be stable are moving. Permissions that should be locked aren't. And a balance that should read $285 million reads zero. He calls his team calls their security firm calls the FBI. Nobody can stop it, nobody can reverse it, nobody can even fully explain it yet, because the money isn't being stolen as they watch, it was already stolen. Everything that happened this morning was just the receipt. $285 million, gone before breakfast. And the people who took it were sitting in a building with no windows in a country with no internet, 5,800 miles away. This is the story of the most patient heist in the history of money. To understand how $285 million disappears in minutes, you first need to understand where it was being kept. Not a bank, not a vault, not a server room with security guards and biometric scanners. Drift Protocol was a decentralized exchange, a DEX, running on the Solana blockchain. Here's what that means in plain language. Imagine a marketplace with no shopkeeper, no manager, no building, just a set of rules written in code that automatically process transactions between strangers who have never met and will never meet. You deposit cryptocurrency, the code holds it, the code trades it, the code returns it. No human touches it. No human needs to. At its peak, Drift was processing over $1 billion in trades every single day. Thousands of people, developers, traders, investors, trusted it with real money, retirement savings, business capital, life savings. And the engineers who built it were proud of something specific. The code had been audited multiple times by multiple independent firms. Every line was public. Anyone in the world could read it, inspect it, try to break it. Nobody found a vulnerability, because there wasn't one. The code was fine, but Drift had something the code couldn't protect. It had people. And people, no matter how smart, no matter how careful, have always been easier to break than software. Unit 180 knew this. They had known it for years. There is a city in the world where the lights go off at night. Not because of a power cut, not because of a storm. By design. Pyongyang, North Korea. Seen from space, it is a black hole surrounded by the glowing cities of South Korea, China, and Japan. The country has no free internet, no social media, no access to the outside world, except for one room. That room, or rather that building, houses a division of North Korea's Reconnaissance General Bureau. The RGB is North Korea's foreign intelligence agency. Think CIA, but with one difference. The CIA steals secrets. The RGB steals money. Because North Korea has a problem that no missile can solve. Since 1950, the United States and its allies have imposed sanctions on North Korea so severe that the country cannot participate in the global financial system. No SWIFT transfers, no international banking, no foreign investment, no oil sales, no weapons deals, at least not openly. A country of 26 million people, a nuclear weapons program that costs billions and almost no legitimate income. So, Kim Jong-un did what any rational dictator would do. He built an army of hackers. Officially, they don't exist. Unofficially, they are the most prolific financial criminals in human history. The group that targeted Drift has been tracked by Western intelligence under many names. Uncode 4736, Citrine Sleet, Applegeese, Golden Cholima, Gleaming Pisces. They keep getting renamed because every time law enforcement gets close, they disappear. Since 2018, this single group has stolen over $3 billion in cryptocurrency. Not from governments, not from military systems, from exchanges, from developers, from ordinary people who trusted digital platforms with real money. The ex-trader supply chain breach in 2023, them. The $53 million Radiant Capital hack in 2024, them. And now, Drift. But this time, they were more patient than they had ever been before. 6 months of patience for $285 million. The math worked.
Fall 2025. While Drift's team is writing code, fixing bugs, and shipping features, Unit 180 is watching them. Not physically, digitally. They pull LinkedIn profiles, GitHub commit histories, conference talks on YouTube, old forum posts. They build a map of everyone who has access to anything important inside Drift. Not just the CEO, not just the CTO, the developers, the engineers, the people 3 levels below the headline names. The people careful enough to be trusted, but not senior enough to be paranoid. Then they find their target. We don't know their name. Drift has never released it. The FBI has sealed that detail. What we know is that this person had access to Drift's Security Council, the emergency override system that could, in extreme circumstances, take administrative control of the entire protocol. A failsafe built to protect users. Unit 180 intended to use it as a weapon. One morning, the target receives a message. We don't know exactly what it said. Researchers have reconstructed the likely method as click fix, a social engineering technique that has become Unit 180's signature in recent years. The message looks legitimate: professional formatting, a real-looking sender, an urgent subject line. Maybe a partnership opportunity. Maybe a security alert, maybe a job offer from a prestigious firm. Attached is a link. The link opens a web page that appears broken. A small error message appears. It asks the user to run a quick diagnostic fix. The fix is not a fix. Malware installs silently. No pop-up, no warning, no unusual behavior. The laptop looks completely normal. But somewhere in Pyongyang, a connection is established. Unit 180 is inside Drift's network, and they still don't move. This is what makes them different from every other criminal group. An amateur hacker breaks in and immediately starts looking for money. Unit 180 breaks in and starts learning. For weeks, they read internal communications. They observe how approvals flow. They map which wallets connect to which permissions. They study the Security Council, how it works, what it requires, who needs to sign off. And then they begin preparing something that blockchain investigators had never seen before used in an attack at this scale: durable nonces. In a normal blockchain transaction, the process is instant. You sign, you send, it executes. There is no gap between approval and action. Durable nonces change that. They are a legitimate feature of the Solana blockchain, designed to allow transactions to be pre-signed and held, then executed at a later time. Useful for scheduled payments, for automated systems, and, as it turned out, for the most sophisticated crypto heist ever attempted. Think of it this way. Imagine someone asks you to sign a form for a routine transfer. You read it. It looks normal. You sign. What you don't know is that the form has a second page, hidden, and that second page gives the other person complete control of your account, activatable at any moment they choose. Over weeks, Unit 180 obtained signatures, approvals, each one obtained through deception, each one looking routine. Nothing executed, nothing moved. The loaded weapon was assembled, silently, patiently. All they needed now was the right moment to pull the trigger. April 1st, 2026, 9:31 a.m. Pacific Time. Unit 180 executes. Every pre-signed transaction fires simultaneously. The Security Council's administrative powers transferred in under 60 seconds. Drift's monitoring systems begin generating alerts. Red flags cascade across dashboards. Engineers get paged. Phones start ringing. Slack channels explode. The team scrambles to understand what they are looking at. By the time the first engineer types the first message asking what is happening, $150 million is already moving. By the time their security firm picks up the phone, $230 million is gone. By the time anyone with the authority to act understands what is happening, $285 million has left the platform. The entire operation, from first transaction to last, took less time than it takes to make a cup of coffee. Drift posted on X at 9:58 a.m. 27 words. We are pausing all deposits and withdrawals while we investigate an ongoing security incident. We will provide updates as soon as possible. By then, the money was already being split across hundreds of wallet addresses, laundered through mixers, converted, moved, following a trail that blockchain investigators would spend weeks trying to trace and largely fail, because Unit 180 had prepared the exit as carefully as they had prepared the entry. 6 months in, 60 seconds out. $285 million transferred to a regime that the world has been trying to financially isolate for 70 years.
In the days that followed, the world's best blockchain analysts did what they always do after a major crypto theft. They followed the money. On a public blockchain, every transaction is visible. Every wallet address is traceable. In theory, you cannot hide stolen cryptocurrency forever. In practice, Unit 180 has had 7 years of practice hiding it. The funds moved through a technique called chain hopping, converting assets across multiple blockchains to break the trail. Then through mixers, services that blend thousands of transactions together, making origin impossible to trace. Then into exchanges operating in jurisdictions where American subpoenas are politely ignored. And then, silence. The wallets go cold, the trail ends, the money is gone. 14 of the most advanced cybersecurity firms in the world reviewed the attack. The FBI opened a formal investigation. The US Treasury added new wallet addresses to its sanctions list. Blockchain analytics companies published detailed reports, and their collective conclusion, after all of that, was the same. The code was never broken. The blockchain was never compromised. No firewall failed. No database was breached. No zero-day vulnerability was exploited. One person received one message, clicked one link. 6 months of the most sophisticated preparation in cybercrime history. Undone, or rather enabled, by a moment that lasts less than a second. A cursor moving across a screen, a finger pressing a button. $285 million.
Here is what the news coverage always misses. Drift was not an isolated incident. It was not even the worst incident. Since 2018, North Korean hackers have stolen an estimated $3 to $4 billion in cryptocurrency. According to a United Nations report, that money funds approximately 40% of North Korea's weapons of mass destruction program. The missiles that fly over Japan, the nuclear tests that set off seismographs in Seoul, partially funded by hacked exchanges, by stolen wallets, by developers who clicked the wrong link. The sanctions that were supposed to contain North Korea assumed a physical world, a world where you needed ports and ships and banks to move money. Cryptocurrency broke that assumption completely. You can now transfer $285 million from San Francisco to Pyongyang in 60 seconds, and there is almost nothing any government can do to stop it in real time. Unit 180 is still operating. Right now, as you watch this, they are inside someone's inbox. They are reading someone's emails, learning someone's access levels, waiting. The next target does not know they are a target. They are probably sitting at a desk somewhere, drinking coffee, opening messages. The most expensive click in history cost $285 million. The next one could cost more.